Hey guys, so it's taking me a little bit longer to roll out these videos than I expected. The videos that I filmed while I was doing some of my early work on the box truck. Sometimes when I look at these videos, I'm reminded how far I've come, because right now I don't feel like I've done much, but I actually have done a lot. And so going back to edit these videos and turn them into videos for you guys really reminds me how much work I've been doing to kind of transform this box truck, and really how far it is from where it was when I got it. Because some days, I don't really feel like I have anything to show off. I don't really feel like I've done anything or haven't done much. I see how much faster other people are getting their projects done. Like Nate from Element Vanlife and Adventure Van Man, and it can make me feel a little behind. But then I have to remember that I knew I couldn't push through this hard. Like, it's not even really a skill set thing, and it's not even really a tool thing, because I own a decent amount of tools that could do the work. I have the tools and the knowledge to do the work that I need to do. What I don't have is all of the funds. And I don't want to do alternative things just to do it faster, because there's no reason to. I have everything I need to live day to day perfectly happy until I can do the next thing that I want to do. I have very specific ideas about what I want to do with this box truck, and I know a lot of people jumped on the fact that I took the slats off the side walls and how they would have used them and better ways to use them. And the thing about this box truck specifically is that I got it to create something I wanted where I didn't feel trapped to what was already there. That's one of the big reasons I was not interested in a Class C. There is no Class C out there with a layout I like that would have satisfied me, besides the fact that it looks like a Class C. Everybody thinks box trucks aren't stealth. I feel more stealth in this box truck than I felt in my van, because everything about my van said camper. I still don't feel like anything about the box truck says it's a camper, and I feel like a lot of people's eyes glance over box trucks in the right situation than they do vans, because vans are so popular. Like, a plain white Sprinter van will get stared at longer than my box truck, with people wondering if it's a camper. Like, people in the know will look at that first, because that's what they expect. Whereas my box truck kind of looks like a bummy little box truck. And that's to its advantage. It's not a disadvantage, actually. It's to its advantage. But anyway, I don't want to go too far down that road. The point is, I had no desire to feel trapped to anything because it was already there. Especially that toolbox. Like, the toolbox is great. It's actually a really nice toolbox. But I didn't want to feel trapped to where it was bolted on the wall, how it was positioned in the box. I wanted complete freedom to do what I wanted to do. The only thing that needed to be defined was the very base structure of the box. I wanted that to be my only sort of confinement. Every vehicle I've had in the past has had some sort of setup where I was always trying to make it as easy as possible to work in the setup that was already there. And part of the goal of getting the box truck was to not feel chained to that. It was to feel the freedom to to start with the most base version of what I could start with. It's one of the big reasons I was slightly not interested in buses, because there was so much to pull out of them before you could start doing anything. And I still feel, by comparison, I feel the same about that. There's so much to pull out of them to really get to the most base structure you can get to. I felt like they were going to be way harder to deal with than a box truck. And so far, I feel still comfortable in that decision. So there was no way I was just going to leave that toolbox there and work around it where it was already bolted. It needed to go, but I didn't have time to do it that first day that I started demo.
So it's the next morning, and I am headed into Home Depot. There's a couple things that needs to happen today that I thought I would get to yesterday, but the most important of those is running power. And to do that, I need a ladder taller than the ladder I own. I tried laying my ladder flat because it does fold out to the non-A-frame position, and I didn't feel very stable on it. So I'm just going to rent a ladder. Eventually I'll have to solve the problem so I can access the roof of the vehicle when I need to, but for now I'm just going to rent one. It's cheaper. So I rented a little giant ladder from Home Depot. It was kind of clunky to work with, but tall enough to get me to the roof, and I always prefer A-frames because I consider them a little safer. I did have a couple of spots on the roof that were leak problems, so I started attacking those first. After that, it was time for the scariest thing ever, making a hole in the box truck roof on purpose, which resulted in a successful cable entry box and setting up my first 100-watt solar panel. Since this was a temporary setup, I just sealed down the panel with flex tape, which has actually held up very well. I did this a month ago. So yesterday, I got most of the side wood out, almost all of it, and the little metal pieces too, but I couldn't get this out. So I grabbed a tool from Home Depot. The ladder I've rented is outside, so I'll show you that. But I still need to get this out. This is the last thing I need to get out, and I can't get this fully out, which is just a piece of plywood against here. And because I'm putting a window here, I definitely want this removed. So I need to get this out. I need to get this out. I need to clean my hands. I have gloves, but I couldn't get what I needed to get done with the gloves in my way, so I just ended up with gross hands. I'm going to go to the beauty supply and get some acetone. That should pretty much help with this. The corners have been much better repaired, I think. That one just has a lot of putty. A lot of and we have power running from down here. I'll try to grab a photo of what it looks like up top, but those are my negative and positive cables coming through there, and those cables are connected to this cable is connected to right now the Jackery 300. So this is how I'm gonna have power, because I have one solar panel on the roof. Sorry, I flipped the camera. So I have one solar panel on the roof that's connected to this, and this will plug into my Jackery. It's a really crappy floppy panel, but it's better than nothing. And when I'm driving, I can plug the Jackery, one of the Jackeries, both of the Jackeries, into the van. I still have not cleaned out the cab, and I think I'm gonna make that my last thing. I want to get the roof stuff done because I rented the ladder, and I need to jump on a Zoom with Patreon and memberships in like an hour. By the time you're seeing this video, I will have talked to them already. They already know about the box truck. You guys already know about the box truck. This should be like the second video about it.
To say things didn't go as planned rolling out these videos would be an understatement.
Well, it is another day, and I just came over here to the box truck. Mickey is still over at the van. I did not do a great job on those corners, but I'm confident that it's not going to leak, which was the main thing. Eventually, I want the whole outside painted, so it won't really make much difference in the end game. Not leaking is the most important part, and there were places where water was getting in, so that was something I needed to take care of. The roof is flawed. I still love her. I still love this box truck. I was willing to take that on as long as the mechanics were good. But anyway, today's mission is to finish getting this down, which I can't get down until I get this out the way, which I want this off the wall anyway. I got all the drawers out, which was the hardest part. Like, it took forever for me to figure out how to get the drawers off the slides because they're locking slides, and there was a little latch you had to squeeze on the side of the drawer, and I was running out of time, so it's really hard to... The thing about if you film anything, it's going to take 3 to 4 times longer, especially when you don't have a cameraman and you can't just do it. And so, like, you're moving the camera, you're repositioning the camera. If you leave the camera where it is, all people are going to see is your back. They're not really going to see the details. And so sometimes I'd rather just talk about it after I do it as opposed to, like, spending time on it. And I couldn't really because I had to go to work. I needed to get it done and get at least this far. I mean, I was really hoping I would have this out by today, but yesterday, because I rented the ladder, I had to prioritize getting those corners, getting Flex Seal on the corners. And I'm actually going to rent a ladder or buy a ladder. It depends on where my finances are at that point. I don't want to buy a ladder until I have new ladder hooks for the side of the van. I do want ladder hooks on the outside of the vehicle. I'm really thinking about how I can use outside storage on the van just to keep, inside storage as clutter-free as possible. Right now, everything has to go inside. But in the end game and end design, I don't see that as the end. I'm really happy that I have my power run for my Jackery from a flexible solar panel on the roof. And one day, I'll have my bomb Jackery set up in here where it's running everything. But right now, I just want to be prepared to have enough electricity to charge my cell phone, charge my laptop, and keep my fridge on. The fridge is still in storage, the ice cold fridge. The Dometic is over in the van, and it's going to stay over in the van. So hopefully by the end of the day, if not the end of the day tomorrow morning, we'll have the ice cold fridge in here and move the food over. And that means I can literally clean out the van entirely. That's sort of the last step. Everything I still had in the van that I was using to just get through the night and get through the past couple of days is packed up and ready just to be quickly pulled out and moved over here. But I already have enough stuff in the way. And because I'm in a parking lot, I don't want to open the back door and just pull everything out. And that's sort of the disadvantage of having to do this in public spaces and not on private property. Like if I was on private property, I could take everything out. I could have it stored outside of the box truck. I could do whatever work I wanted to do in the box truck and not have to move anything in until, I was ready for it. Unfortunately, I'm not in that situation, but it doesn't matter because I have my box truck. And I love it. I am so excited about it. You think I wouldn't be excited until I actually got it looking like a tiny house. But no, like right now I'm so excited. I'm so excited about the fact that I am standing up in my house right now and it's the exact thing I wanted. All right, enough talking to the camera. Let's get to work.
So the first thing I had to do was get all that darn wood that I had taken off the other day out of my way. With that done, I began to really attack the process of getting this toolbox off of the wall. This is where it would have been helpful, honestly, to have a second person. I was just trying to hold bolts from behind the toolbox while also unbolting them from inside the toolbox at the same time. And I won't lie, it was a lot of awkward angling of my body and pretty exhausting. When the toolbox finally moved, I was pretty excited. But there wasn't a ton of time for celebration because I needed to attack the rest of the wood that I wanted to get off. And after a lot of effort, that final piece was loose. Now I needed to make it livable in there again, so I needed to put all the wood that I moved to the other side of the box back on the side of the box that it had been in.
So remember, one of the reasons I was like, I don't know about a shuttle bus is because there's so much stuff to take out of the shuttle bus before you can start building. And like if you get a box truck, it's so easy. You just have this flat space to build in. And one of the biggest things I want to add is windows. And I had a delusion that when I pulled that piece of wood off, there would just be a flat wall there to cut into. But instead, of course, I have ribs here. Now this is kind of cool As in, if I build my bed off of here, I still want to put a window here. So I would have to build some sort of like bracing for, you know, whatever ribs we cut off. But these ribs are actually longer. They're not very thick, but they're longer than these sidewall ribs that I'll have to cut into or remove in order to put windows on the side. The plan is still to put in windows. It's just that there is a lot more space behind that piece of wood than I realized. But that's part of the surprises. And also, this whole thing was harder than I thought. I got the bolts out, and that was fine, but there were also 2 screws, and one of the screws was stripped. So I literally ended up ripping it off the wall by that last screw because I just didn't have anything that could grab it, and it was a lot of weight already pulling on it because everything else was loose. So I just pulled, and it came loose. And so now I have all of my walls clear. I just need to rearrange the space enough that me and Mickey can live out of here like this for a little bit. But it's basically down to the point I wanted it before I started building up again. And this is just something I'm going to have to deal with because it's a little more involved than I thought. But there wasn't a lot of time to play around. It was time for me and Mickey to just move in the box truck as is. So it's weird looking back at this video, not only because I still own the van and hearing all those concerns I had about getting in out of the van so that I could clean it all the way out to a base form, and just all those concerns and stress about the van. I was just reminded how stressed I was trying to coordinate moving over to the box truck and selling the van. But also looking at the date I recorded this, I realized me and Mickey have been living out of this van like super basic for almost a month, and it really does feel like home now. I was really worried about Mickey coming over to the van, but now it's just home. I don't think either one of us even think about it too much. And it's been great, honestly. I know everybody dreams of their perfect done vehicle, but it was great the day I actually started living in here. And just seeing I did put in some work just to make that first moment of living in the box truck happen. And I don't know, it's just been great. I just feel great. I feel great about where we are. I feel great about the work I've put in to get here, and I'm looking forward to showing you guys even more about where this journey is going. Alright, I'll catch you in the next video. So if you are interested in more of the further adventures of building out this box truck, please feel free to just subscribe below. And if you like this video, don't forget to hit that thumbs up, and don't forget to leave a comment. The algorithm likes those things. It favors YouTubers that get those things. If you really hated this video, feel free to dislike it. That counts too. Anyway, I just want to thank all of my Patreon and YouTube membership supporters through rough months. That really helps me get through. People on Patreon and YouTube memberships are getting more current photos of the box truck as renovations happen. If you want to join in on that and see those photos and pictures and more up-to-date updates, feel free to join Patreon or YouTube memberships. There should be a button on the screen at some point. Otherwise, just hang out. All of those videos will be rolling out, and you'll get to know the same stuff, just at a different timeline. Anyway, thank you all for watching this video. Thank you for your support. Thank you for hanging around. My laptop is currently still being repaired. I took it to a repair shop, so I'm still editing this on a mobile app called KineMaster. It's actually the app that I started this channel with before I transitioned to a laptop editing platform. So if anybody's looking for a really soft intro into editing, this video is not sponsored, but check out KineMaster.
It's pretty cool.